How are you,
I'm
Marie?
good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to
Hello.
the first tech call of the ever in the Book Launch Lab.
There you go. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
right. And me too. Because I definitely know tech is on my tech is a wreck. So I'm excited to have a tech genie in my presence now to help me do it right. I think so. This is a co-hosted call between myself. If anybody's watching the recording and you haven't been to one of the calls yet, my name's Kim and I'm the host of the Book Launch Lab. And I'm here presenting with my tech genie and go high level genius, Simone Henry. She's to that side of
Yeah.
me on my video. But anyways, so we're really glad to have you here. And this is a call that's going to be going forward on the first, second, and third Tuesdays of every month. So for the first 3 weeks of the month, you can get tech support on this tech call. As always, inside of the Book Launch Lab, if you have any types of questions, you can go straight to the community tab. And there is when you make a post in the tab and you pick the category, there is a category called tech. So I think it's called tech tips. So obviously, if you have tech tips, you can by all means go and share with other people in the community. It actually gets you visible, right? We're all about visibility and getting seen. So use the community as an opportunity to also showcase yourself and all of the things that you're brilliantly working on inside of the Book Launch Lab. It's also the tag that you can use if you have a tech question. So Simone and I will be going in and making sure we are checking on that. There's also, if you prefer, I believe, a tag called questions, ask a question. So if you want to make sure that it's tagged as a question, you can use that tag to make sure your questions get answered between the calls. Now, as always, in the Book Launch Lab, you're going to have our Wednesday momentum call that happens the first momentum call happens the first Wednesday of every month. So tomorrow will be the first momentum call of June. So make sure to be there for the momentum call where we do a tiny little training, but then we get you into action because action is what creates momentum. So this isn't just going to be coming to a call where you're going to be bombarded and fire hosed with information. We're going to learn something small. We're going to implement it together on the momentum call. And then you will leave that call with your June plan and strategy in place so you can keep going and take momentum. Then on the second and third weeks of the Book Launch Lab, you'll come on Wednesdays to the strategy and support call. So everything you learned in the momentum call and you're taking action on, if you have questions and you need to get them answered and you want to get support on that, come to the call. So even if you don't have a question, I would highly suggest you come to the call. So for example, I'm a student in another program where I'm learning how to build my membership out more effectively. So everything you're seeing me do in the Book Launch Lab is things I'm learning from my mentors. So think about that in your business as well, right? The things that you're learning and bringing in and then teaching to your community. I'm doing the exact same thing, guys. I'm making sure that I'm going and learning from other successful mentors, people that are more successful than me. And I'm bringing back all of those learnings and implementing myself inside of my own membership. So, where with your business hat on can you be doing that for the people that you're serving? Making sure you're bringing back your learnings and bringing them into the community. So, I was just on that call earlier today and I didn't have any questions. But guess what? Every time I go to that call, I learn something new from the questions that other people have because they might be questions that I don't have. So even when I'm not stuck with anything, I always go to those group calls where my mentors are hanging out because I want to learn from the other brilliant brains inside of that community. So I highly suggest, even if you don't have any questions, to be in attendance for those support and strategy calls because you just might learn something from somebody else inside of the community. So that said, welcome to the first ever Tech Tuesday call for the Book Launch Lab. But like I said, I'm combining this and going on this journey with my tech genius, Simone Henry. And it's also her
Yeah.
call that she hosts as an open house for her community. So guess what's better than one community of amazing people? communities of amazing people. So people might be joining us.
Yeah.
Right. So I just want you to know that don't be surprised if people you haven't seen before pop into this call, because we're going to open this call so two communities are getting amazing advice from two other leaders. So that being said, I'd love for Simone, you can take the stage and share with everybody, a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Go High Level and kind of all the amazingness that you bring to the table for this community.
Well, let's see. So I'm Simone. I am a client lifecycle marketer and a business automation specialist, strategist. I'm not sure what you want to call it, how I want to call it. I am embracing the tech of it all, especially automation for creating systems in your business. And yes, my community is called Automation Made Easy. And then I also have another community called the Water Cooler. So I'm bringing them all together, killing two birds with one stone, bringing everybody into the same room. We can all meet each other and learn from each other. One of the things that I really like about, like, when you bring different business people together, and you may be writing a book, someone else may be, I have a group of real estate agents, it could be a group of coaches, and they look and see what the other people are doing in their industry and their type of business, and they think, I wonder if that would work in mine. And they might try it in theirs. And just because, say a coach might do something that an author is doing in their business, and it works because it's out of the box for a coach. Or a book author may do something that a real estate agent is doing, and it works and it's cool and it's different because it's out of the box for a real estate agent to do, right? And so bringing them all together, I I foresee cross pollination and help for all of them. Kim and I, we met a while ago, and we have synergy there. She's like a fantastic salesperson and marketer, and she is great when she talks to people. Me, I learn from her when it comes to sales and that kind of thing. So, and she learns from me when it comes to the tech of it all. So we decided to combine forces to help our communities to grow and move forward. So my framework is all about attracting your leads on autopilot, turning those leads into loyal clients, and retaining them and turning them into raving fans and advocates for your business. And we can use automated systems to do all of that. And before I go any further, one other thing I wanted to tell you is that um, I am going to post these videos up on YouTube every week. So I hope that you are okay with having your face out there. If not, it's okay. Just turn off the camera, I guess. But yeah, this is gonna be part of my content. So one of the things that one of my favorite mentors likes to say is, whatever it is that you're doing, turn on the camera. Keep doing it and turn on the camera and put it out there and let people see what it is you're doing. And so I am taking that advice to heart. My one of my favorite channels is YouTube, so I will be putting this out on YouTube. Christine will be helping me to do some shorts and put it out there that way. So so we'll grow the community in that way. I think that is it for my for my introduction. Kim, what's next?
Well, since you've never met Marit, why don't you take a turn at the mic and share a little bit about with Simone about what you do?
Sure. So hi, Simone. Lovely to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
I own a bookkeeping business, and I started that recently, meaning towards the end of last year. I'm coming off of a 2-decade corporate career in financial operations, specifically in the banking industry, but it's applicable anywhere really, where I implemented large ERP applications like Treasury workstations and General Ledger. So very heavy on the tech side of automating operational functions, but within a financial environment. So anytime there's large sets of data that's finance related, that's normally where I would come in. And it relates to anything related to change management within those systems. Or another thing that I did for a lot of years is create processes and workflows to automate anything that the business function was doing itself, because normally that was never done in the most efficient way. And there were lots of opportunity to make things better. And then eventually that same workflow that's now nice and clean gets translated within the large $20 million application that we get to implement as well. So that's my background. And the only translation to that kind of background is bookkeeping, which might sound like it's more adjacent than anything else. But because I was so heavily into the cash management side of things and the cash posting side of things, there was anything related to cash application and cash posting kind of fell within my world. So that's the lead into the bookkeeping side, but the regular bookkeeping for small business owners doesn't have that level of complexity that I'm used to, which is fine to me because my goal is really to take everything I've learned from a large scale operation and bring that knowledge and expertise to smaller business owners that wouldn't have access to people like me because we're normally working for corporate entities. So that's what I do. And while tech is a strong suit for me, marketing is not, neither is sales. So that's where I think the first conversation I had with Kimberly, it's like, oh my God, I completely understand everything you're saying. You must be a structured person just like me. And Kimberly turns around, she goes, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm like, yes, you are. I'm hoping she's coming around because she doesn't realize she naturally talks in structures. I
Yes.
naturally talk in structures. And
Yes.
even the way I speak is very structured. I break things down and I started, I go in a particular direction. And she does exactly the same thing. So it was very funny to me that she did not see herself as a structured person where it's like any conversation you have with her, you end up with a pyramid.
That's so true.
Right?
She helped me create my framework.
She's helping me with my framework. So
Right.
there we go. Kim, you're structured. Stop
You're
fighting it.
structured.
So I love that. So now
Oh.
I'm here trying to figure out I don't use Go High Level. I actually signed up with System.io. But to me, systems that do certain things all have the same logic embedded in them. It's just a matter of figuring out how they go about doing that functionality. So whether it's sending out an email that's a marketing email, or if it's creating a blog, or if it's doing a landing page because you have a product, it's the same concept of every general ledger will behave in the exact same way. The question is, are you using NetSuite? Are you using PeopleSoft? Or are you using QuickBooks? It's the size of what you need to do and how that particular application handles that particular task. But the task is the same no matter what. It's like, what does the GUI tell us? Where do I click? If you understand the logic of what you need to do, then understanding how the application you're using executes on that helps you be able to use that. So.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, you might have caught Simone's 3, right? Attract, convert, retain. That's her 3 parts of her pyramid. In my world, attract, nurture, convert, retain would be a 4th pillar. It doesn't mean that it's not the same. It's just the ones she's focused on using versus the ones I am versus the ones you will be, right, Marie?
Yeah.
And so what we're actually doing today is not super techie and automation related. So what it is it's high level, pun intended, right? Go high level, right? We're going to look at your book funnel from a high perspective, a vantage point, so you can see what all the moving parts are. So I guess maybe you're right, Marie. I kind of do talk in structures, don't I?
Yep.
And they're very important. And if you can see that from the high level perspective, from the bird's eye view, if you will, then it makes your understanding of marketing also a lot easier. So hopefully by the end of today's call, you're going to really have a clear understanding of how and I know you're already getting it because we've been working together now for a few weeks. So I know you're seeing it, but today it's really going to help lock that in, hopefully. And then we're also going to give you a little more of the nitty gritty. So I'm going to go back to the bird's eye view, but then we're going to bring it in to, the landing pages and the copy and the thank you pages and the emails and all the things that you're going to need as the assets that go into the technical piece, which is technically the funnel, right? So in my world, just like in Simone's world, the funnel isn't just the technology, the funnel is the client journey.
It's their
And if
journey.
you can just remember that your funnel is just a client journey, it just makes it so much easier and it takes the overwhelm out of, yes, I don't know how to put all the automations in place and connect all the dots behind the scenes. That's why we have Simone. She's like the Wizard of Oz, right? Behind the curtain, connecting all the pieces and moving all the parts together. All we're doing is giving her what our client journey looks like. And then she's helping us map out how they all link together so that they can work seamlessly for when the client that you're looking for potentially first comes into your world, right? What is the next best thing that you're going to ask them to do? What's the next best step in the journey that you're going to ask them to take? So I'm going to drop a handout into the chat. It's a little design that I made, and I think Simone's going to pop it up on the share screen as well, so you can have a bigger version of it. But I wanted you to also have a copy for yourself so you can save it. And I don't know, I'm very visual. So even though it's structured, it's also very visual. And I love having that visual because in my world, the book launch lab funnel is really simple. And I think, I don't know if you agree, but wouldn't you sometimes agree that in business, sometimes we overcomplicate things, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if you can actually just break it down into, that's why I always use the threes, right? Three parts to a triangle or parts to your offer, three things in each side, in each section. And if you break your stuff down into threes, it just makes it so much easier to understand. So in my world, that first part of the book funnel, and this is my actual funnel for the book launch lab, right? Is I have my book at the top of the funnel and I put a bump there, but in the world of Simone's back end magic, your bumps or order bumps or your upsells is what they're often called, are those things that we can do when we're building our funnel that helps make it profitable at the top of the funnel.
Right.
Because if you can,
You know how I
for,
think about it?
yeah,
I
tell
always
us what
think
you
about
think
it.
about that piece, Simone.
I always think about it as say you're in the grocery store, you've gone and you've gathered all your things and you put everything in your cart and you're headed out to the checkout line. The bump, gum, the candy, all of those, what do you call them? Impulse buys you
Yes.
That's what they
get
call it. Mhm.
in that checkout aisle, right?
Mhm.
It's the thing you weren't necessarily coming for, but it makes everything it sweeter and nicer.
It so does. I love that analogy. And from a practical standpoint, I had a coach once tell me, because I've always been thinking, okay, what do you put in the order bump? Because obviously gum and candy in the grocery aisle, which is a perfect analogy of like that's the stuff you're buying after you've already got the thing you thought you wanted, right?
Yeah.
That you came to the grocery store for. Using the grocery store analogy, quick, quick sidebar. Did you realize that the dairy section, because most people want eggs and milk, that's the
Mhm.
like staples, it's in the
Yeah.
back far
All the way
corner
at
of
the
the
back.
grocery store
Yep.
on purpose,
Mhm.
because then you
And
have
I
to
do
go through
that.
all of the other aisles to get to that section and you buy other stuff. So they
Mhm.
purposely put dairy in the back of the store for that exact reason. So nobody can just whip in, grab their milk and their eggs and their butter and run out. So you put it at the back of the store so you buy more. Anyway, sidebar. So yes, the impulse stuff. However, because we all know now that I'm structured, but I'm also very strategic. So I had somebody teach this to me once, and I hope you'll never forget it. So, because I always ask, what's the difference between an order bump and an upsell?
Mhm.
Like in your what are you going to put in those places? Like, because if I have a book, what would make a good order bump? What would make a good upsell? And this is what I learned, and I've never forgotten it since I learned that thing. I can't unlearn it.
Mhm.
So the book is the information. What you put in the order bump helps them with speed of implementation.
Mm.
And then what you put in the upsell is what helps them get transformation.
I love that.
And I just did that sideways as a lateral right across the bump and because right after bump, you could also put upsell. Upsell. Okay.
Mm.
But if you follow the funnel down, it's the same thing. So in my world, after the book plus the order bump and the upsell, which by the way, I'm going to go through in a more detailed lesson in another time. Right now, we're just looking at the overview, but there will be training on just that one piece of the book funnel where what are you creating? What is your book about? What is your order bump going to look like? What is your upsell going to look like? So we're going to do a more in-depth training on that inside of the lab. So don't worry about all of that right now. I just want to give the overview today, right? We can't learn how to build the entire city in one hour class, but we're going to give you the overview so you know that there's other things coming. So once we do that, we move on to step 2, pairs of 3s inside of this little example here, which is after you get them the lead magnet, in my world, a book, where are you sending them to next? And where you're sending them to next in my world is a workshop or an event or a webinar or a challenge. Maybe it's a summit. In fact, inside of the lab, I teach 5 different conversion event styles, and us in its simplest form, a conversion event could just be a sales call. You're inviting someone to a strategy session, right? A coaching session. That's the simplest conversion event you can ever do. So people that get in my world and get stuck like, oh my God, I'm going to have to create a whole webinar before I ever can sell something. No, you don't have to do that. You can get started right now by giving somebody a book, or maybe it's just a checklist or some sort of a smaller lead magnet, right, Simone? It doesn't have to be
Right.
the book right out of the gate. So don't let all of the big assets you need to create get you stopped. You could start all this strategy with a 1-page checklist, then invite them to a strategy call to go through the items on the checklist with them to give them a customized plan, and then sell them something at the bottom, which is stage 3,
Yeah.
right?
Always thinking
Obviously, we
about
want
like
to be
for
working towards something bigger and more effective, but in its simplest form, it can be really simple, right, Simone?
yeah, and that lead magnet, that initial item that you're giving away should solve an immediate problem. Like I like your big hooks. I think
Yeah.
that's such a cool thing because it's like, okay, here I am. I want people to actually pay attention to my content on Instagram. How do I see these people who are getting all these great views. What do I say to get more views on my Instagram? Well, there's a little book of big hooks that helps you to kind of get moving, to show you like how to get people's attention immediately before you jump into the main meat of the content. And and then with your call to action or whatever. But I think that's something that's super helpful if you're a real estate agent and listing agent, to get people to give you their contact information and to bring them into your funnel, is to have a calculator on your website. It's a simple thing that's easy to activate and to implement, and it solves a quick and immediate problem for somebody who wants to begin the process of selling their house.
They want to know
What
what
is
their
my
house is
house
worth.
worth?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What's my house worth?
Mm-hmm.
I put in the numbers, give you some information, and you spit me back out a number
Yeah.
or a range of numbers.
Yeah,
It solves an
absolutely.
immediate problem. And
Yeah.
then you solve that problem for them, then you can bring them to the next step.
Mm-hmm. Now, Marie, I know you're working on a quiz, so that's a good thing that could be potentially right at the top of your funnel until you have your book ready. Although I know from our last meeting that you can now see how fast a book can actually get ready. So that's the other piece, right? Is people think a book's going to take forever to write, and it actually can get done fairly quickly if you're strategic and you think about what you're actually trying to sell and make sure that your funnel is back engineered to lead people down the path of exactly what it is you're going to sell, right? So the step two piece, which is bringing it into a conversion event, is just what we talked about. It's either a sales call if you're just starting out, and maybe it's a 1 hour webinar if you have a low ticket offer. Maybe it's a 3-day challenge. In my world, I used to sell high ticket coaching, so I did a 5-day challenge when I was selling my $5,000 book coaching program. Why? Because somebody's not buying a $5,000 program from you from a 1 hour webinar. It just doesn't happen. You have not built know, like, and trust well enough yet. So the workshop that you design, again, is directly related to what you're going to be offering. So let's move that to step 3, which is what is it that you're going to be offering? And you need to be clear on what that looks like first before you can figure out what workshop you're going to do and before you figure out what your book you're going to write. So just like Stephen Covey always says, right? Begin with the end in mind. It's one of my favorite quotes. You do need to know what you're selling. So in my world, it's the book launch lab, right? It's my $47 a month um membership. And of course, I do the back engineer to the write your book in a day with AI, where I teach people the structure of attracting, nurturing, and converting with a book, a workshop, and an irresistible low ticket offer in the form of a membership program. So I teach the strategy and I draw people in with the exciting thing that they want to learn, which is how to write their book really fast with AI, right? And then I show them the bigger problem is that once you have the book, now what? Because that's what I found in my high ticket coaching is I was helping people with the book, and then afterwards they were coming to me going, Kim, I have no idea what to do with the book now that I've written it. Like, thanks for all your help. And then I realized they were going and signing up for other programs on how to do a webinar, how to do all the marketing. And I was like, why am I leaving all this business on the table? Right. So it evolved into this, though. It didn't start as big as this. So again, and I'm sharing these strategies and these stories with you so that you can kind of put your business hat on and think about what that looks like for your business. And see how you can plan out these 3 levels for your business, right? So if we now go back to like the big bird's eye view again, remember I talked about at the top, the book to the bump to the upsell, which is information, speed, and implementation, transformation. The top to bottom funnel is the exact same thing. The book and those materials that they buy from you for the order bump and the upsell are the information. And then you bring them to the conversion event and you help them with the implementation. So you give them some quick wins. So just like you came to the AI workshop, Marie, only you were already in my world before. When somebody else comes to that, they're usually blown away by how fast it can happen. And then at that point, I offer them the opportunity to come and learn the rest of the stuff inside of the book launch lab. So that's where they're going to get the transformation. So top to bottom, it's information, implementation, and transformation as well. So I want you to think about that as you're leading people down your path, right? So Marie, in your case, when they join chamber club, when they join the chamber club, that's when you're going to help them really get the traction and really get the results that they need. The workshop's going to be designed so that they understand they've got the problem. They understand that you're the best person to help them solve the problem, and you're going to give them a couple of quick wins, right? But the top of the funnel is where we put together your spreadsheet, for example, could be one of the order bumps and upsells, right? Helping them get organized faster. You'll also have it inside of your membership. But again, it's just to get the wheels turning on what those things look like, but to understand that in its simplicity, it's 3 things. It's a book, it's an event, and it's an offer. Like that, in that order, right? It's attract them with the book, nurture them by giving them value in the form of a workshop, and convert them with your irresistible offer into your membership program. So my 3 pillars: attract, nurture, convert.
Cool.
So what I think we're going to do right this second is let's take a couple of minutes to workshop what are your 3 steps, right? What does it look like? Do you already have a title for your book? If you do, I'd encourage you to draw it out like I just did on that little thing, right? Do it in your own handwriting. Make it like literally bring your book funnel to life for yourself on a blank sheet of paper. Take it out, grab and do that. What is your book? And draw the book and put the title of your book on your book if you have it, right? What does your event look like? Have you decided what that's going to look like? If you don't know exactly, pick something simple like a webinar or a masterclass. You can even be selling on your weekly training calls, right? I mean, Marie, we're in Eric's program, so I can use that one as a really good example. But on every one of his free trainings, he's talking about, like, not his morning sales boost, but on his main trainings, he's always selling one of his programs, whether it's Gold Protege, Platinum Protege. Like, he's always selling one of his programs. So he does this on his free trainings. So once you understand what you're selling, though, you're going to be able to back engineer and map this all out. So I really think that your next best step is to really get clear on what that membership looks like, your membership offer. And that would be my goal for you for this month for sure, is to get clear on what this funnel looks like, because the assets will start to come together really, really effectively. And I know you're already working on it all. So getting it dialed in is your next best step to being able to back engineer all the other pieces and the assets. So let's take a couple minutes, get that on paper right now, because then I'd love if you're, brave enough to share. I always like to share and have people share because it inspires me when I see everybody sharing. So let's take a couple of minutes and do that right now, and we'll get back on. How many minutes do you think you need? Was 5 minutes enough to sketch it out, Marie?
Because I know we got started on this stuff last time. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find the conversations with AI
Yep.
because I don't remember where I.
So that's your
stopped off.
micro offer. So probably look for the one called micro offer, because remember we did that with that micro offer custom GPT for your course.
Yes, and I pulled it up. Oh yeah, the micro offer. Sorry,
Yeah.
that different chat. Mm-hmm.
And then we did the book one. We took it out of the micro offer and put it into a new one for the book.
Yes.
So,
So you're saying I need to go back to the micro offer?
well, that'll be the bottom. That's the bottom of the funnel, right? It's your course, the course that'll be housed inside of your chamber club membership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a little time. I don't want to fold you guys up. I'm worried that I might need more time to get back to that spot than I have.
Don't forget, this is just the high level, right? Just those 3 little pictures of like your book and what kind of an event do you want to run, and what's your membership? Maybe even just the title of what you're going to call your membership.
We did think about a few titles. I remember.
Right? Where's my other thing that's open?
I think we came up with the Clean Books Blueprint
Ooh, yes, that's your book, right?
as the book title.
Yep.
Yeah, and one of my to-dos was to take all the subtitles that I was given and try to figure out a good one to go with that book
Yeah.
title.
You are. Oh my gosh, the Zoom things are so weird to me because it puts the big green thing around all of us first and then makes me go to find what I was going to share. So funny. Can you see it right now?
Yes.
This thing? Okay. So just sketch out. Like, you don't even have to draw the book if you don't want to, but I like to make things fun. And if you make it fun, I feel like it's more memorable. So, but you could just put, 1 is your book. And if you have the title, like, just draw a square book with your title on it. You don't have to have picked the subtitle yet. Whatever your workshop or your training that you're going to host, but then call your lab something like, I think like, the Chamber Club.
I think we were thinking that
I think it
Chamber
sounds
Club
cool. Yeah.
or the Chamber Books Club or something along that.
Yeah. And then just map it out as like a fun visual. It doesn't have to have all the details in it right now. It's really just a high level overview of what your funnel looks like. So you're always knowing what you're working towards, right? The 3 main assets that are going to go in, and then we build off all the assets from those 3, right?
Yes. How am I supposed to do the mock-up?
I just literally, that's my handwriting.
Oh.
It was literally like this on a sheet.
Okay.
And I just took a picture of it and uploaded it to Canva and made it prettier. But you'll see the next one, it was literally just my own handwriting. And then I took a picture of it and added it up to it. So you can just take out a blank sheet of paper and just handwrite it out with a Sharpie if you want.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there used to be a whiteboard in here too that you could use in Zoom to share.
Well, once
And
I have my
just
new
and draw
office
on
set
it.
up, I will have my blur screen off so I can actually, I'm very big on using like clipboards and stuff. And
Yeah.
so, but I'm not in a space where I really should have my place not, my screen not blurred right now. So it's in under construction.
the workshop is going to be. Kim, when you say the workshop, you don't mean the workshop within the membership. You mean the workshop that brings people into the membership?
Bingo. You got it.
Yeah, I don't
So
think we talked at all about what to call that.
okay. So I guess the thing, if you wanted to, and if you could, I mean, and again, it's a decide for now, and it can always change. But what feels best for you? Would you want to run a webinar where you had all the slides, or would you prefer to just do something workshop style like I do? Or would you prefer to do,
I
uh,
probably prefer the workshops. I think I would feel more comfortable with that.
yeah,
Because I feel like if I know I'm in teaching mode, it's a comfortable mode for me.
perfect. So
Um,
I would call it then, for your purposes, call it a workshop or a training, right? Like, because what you name it to the front facing people, like I find that sometimes matters too, Simone, these days, especially. I'm not sure what your take on it is, but my take is everybody knows what a webinar is now, and they know they're going to be
Yeah.
sold something, which
Sure.
I don't care. I still go to them anyways because they're valuable for me. A master class is another common word that people call them, right?
Mhm.
Which is, well, again, it's fine with me. I don't care what it is, but I
Been
think
using
sometimes,
masterclass.
yeah, I think sometimes
Yeah.
people are getting saturated and feel like they're overwhelmed by going to so many webinars. But when you call it a
Yeah.
workshop, to me, when I think workshop, I think, oh, I'm going to roll up my sleeves and get some stuff done. And I
Yeah.
like that part about a workshop for me,
Yeah, especially if you're talking about implementation. I
right?
mean, or a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
A challenge is another one where you actually get something done.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because my very first challenge I ever ran was a 5-day to sell my full high ticket book coaching program. And I called it the Become a Best-Selling Author Adventure. And then I joked, I said, it's a 5-day challenge, but who needs another challenge in their life, right? So let's come on an adventure together. So I just tweaked it around and made it playful and fun like I am, right? So you
Mhm.
can always call it anything, but just make sure, when you're thinking about naming, because we're kind of doing some of that a little bit right now, that your iteration is something that they understand what they're coming to, right?
Yeah.
When I say you're coming to a write your book in a day with AI workshop, you know exactly what you're going to do at this workshop.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to write the whole book in your workshop, but at least I teach the foundations of why the book's important. I teach the basics of how I teach my people to use it in a funnel so they understand that whole framework behind it. And then, as you've been to that workshop before, Marie, and I
Mhm.
think you've been to one of mine too, Simone, I then teach you how to get a few titles and subtitles so you get that idea of like starting it. I help you get your table of contents or your outline done, and I help you write that first chapter, which then puts the belief that, oh, I can do it in a day, right? So a lot of the content which we'll do inside of the book launch lab, what content goes in my workshop, those are, again, as I'm teaching from a high level, those are some of the things you want to think about later when we're talking about content inside the workshop. A lot of your content isn't just that you need to teach. It's that you
That's
need to
true.
build the belief of the
Yeah.
audience that this is the right solution,
And
right? You need to
include
go,
stories.
yes, you need to tell stories, right?
Yeah.
You need
Hmm.
to be addressing objections inside of your workshop because your people are thinking them. So why not just bring them out and teach about them? Because it helps eliminate them before you get to a sales call with them, right? So these are workshop nuances that we'll talk about later inside the lab. But for this purpose of this exercise, it's like just get the overview. What are your 3 steps of your book funnel look like?
So I wrote down for mine, I know you guys can't see it, but I have the Chamber Books blueprint as my number one piece.
Beautiful.
Then I have a to be detitled workshop as a number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have membership to the Chamber Books Club as number 3.
Beautiful.
Okay.
My 3 steps.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful overview.
Do you have any ideas for an order bump?
I think your spreadsheet. I think you should sell your spreadsheet.
But that's
Yeah.
going to come in already as part of the membership. Because what we talked about was, Simone, just to bring you up to speed, I created a unique way to process and handle information from a large CRM application that collects all membership data and stuff like that for chambers of commerce, and then bring that into their accounting application. Because the data itself is not correct if you just take it as it is from the system. So it's broken at the outset. And then when I saw that, I created a new process, a custom spreadsheet that takes all that information, reformats it, organizes it, rolls it up, and gives me the journal entries, which you can actually download and then upload if you wanted to, or do it one by one, the right entries to be created inside the accounting system in order to process this information. So the whole conversation with Kim about, okay, how can I'm using it for one client. I developed it for this one particular specific client, but it's really anyone that's using that very specific system can use it. And in theory, if they're using a different system that has similar type of large detail information in there, then it could be easily adjusted for any other system that has too much information and not the right level of information to be brought into the accounting system. So the thought behind the membership was to now use this asset and give that away within the membership. But then the 3 weekly calls are all about, let's go ahead and download the data, bring it into this spreadsheet. Now, who's struggling with what? You should have been able to generate, if you got batch payments in every single day of the week and you do this once a week, then you should have your 5 journal entries ready to go. Either you can upload them or do them manually, but this spreadsheet is going to put them together for you. So let's do this together so that if you're struggling or you're not seeing things clearly, I can walk you through. And that's the 3 sort of cohort sessions that will occur.
3 calls a month.
3
Yeah.
calls a month. And the reason behind 3 is because the first week of the month is book close. So we're all working on the books. No one is going to be listening to any kind of cohort session at this moment. That's where the 3 comes from. It will be the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th week of the month. In theory, if you're good with those, then yes, that 4th week, you should be able to do on your own. If you're not, I don't really have a thought out solution for that yet, but basically, I might need to come up with something. But for now, it's 3 weeks and then you're on your own for the 4th. And if you mess that up, then the next month's 2nd week should still be good enough from a timing perspective to fix that 4th week that you couldn't do on your own if you struggled with the spreadsheet. So that's the thought process behind how the membership is going to work.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just also for some backstory for you, Simone, the chamber master is this CRM she's talking about. So it'd be like she's going into chambers of commerce, and they use chamber master as their CRM. It's kind of like all the marketing people using Go High Level, but then some of them are using system.io. So she could customize that person's CRM if they were using a different one.
Yeah, so as a bump offer, I was thinking, what if you did something like a small ebook or something that compares the 2 CRMs and helps them to figure out like where the data is in each of them to that you want to bring over. Something like that. That's
So
what I was thinking.
It would be for someone who's not using that system, but is using a different system. Is that what you're thinking?
Or just comparing the two systems.
So that would be hard because
Or
I
multiple.
wouldn't, if someone using another system, I wouldn't know what that is until they come out and say so.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you understand system.io.
I was just using that as the analogy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Chamber master is like Go High Level. It was like if the chamber's using something different. It was just to give you the analogy of what chamber master is.
Yeah. I think in my area, it's going to be hard to do a bump
Okay.
because I just don't see what would be the bump
Mm.
right
And we
then
might
and
not
there.
see
Well,
it yet because you're still brand new into kind of developing all
exactly.
this.
Yeah.
So either way, you don't really need one at the beginning. These are just ways to increase profitability at the top of your funnel.
Yeah.
If you decided to start sending Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads or Google ads or some sort of ad spend to the
Mhm.
top of your funnel to go and attract the chambers via ad spend,
Okay.
which you might not even end up being as part of your strategy, right? It's the top of funnel strategy for people using ad spend for sure.
No.
Because I know that we worked on, there is a concept behind the level up piece, which is if they want all of it taken off their hands, then they completely hand it
Yes.
over to me. So that part, we have a label for that and a box for that.
Yes.
It's just that I
Yes.
don't see where the bump comes in yet, if
Yeah.
any. Yeah.
Yeah, you may see
And
it
that
later
just might come
on.
to light as we work
Yeah.
through this, right? It might be like, oh, we never thought about that, but this could be a good little add-on
Exactly.
piece once they get the book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love it.
like a good companion to the book is what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay, so what do we have? We have a half an hour more for this call, right, Simone?
Yeah,
Is that enough to go through the second piece?
I think so.
Okay.
So this is digging more deeply into the top of the funnel and going through the pieces. Okay, so I am going to share. I'm going to open up this as a presentation and then share it. Let's see. Okay. And this is the book funnel framework. Can you all see that?
Yes.
I sure can.
I love maps. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, here, I have that one I can drop for you in the chat.
It's okay. I took a screenshot. I'm good.
Okay. I'll put it in anyways.
Okay. So this is kind of what your funnel looks like from a like web page
Okay. From a
perspective.
technical perspective.
Yeah. Right. So you land on the page and you have a book offer here with all the information about the book. You in the order form, there's the bump offer, right? And then those, once you get that, it leads to an upsell. They can say yes or no to this upsell. Another upsell. What's his name? Russell Brunson calls them one-time offers.
Correct.
Like Dan Henry does that too, right? There's a one-time offer. So upsell two, and then a thank you page. And
Yes.
it tells you like what your next steps are. Check your email,
Join the Facebook.
and then down here for each of these steps, really, there are follow-ups.
Oop, did she just bump completely?
Yeah. She must have lost her connection.
Oopsies. Okay, I'll share my version of it, which is here. Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, I know how to make it bigger. It's underneath my toggle bar. There we go. There we go. A little bit bigger and easier to see, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, Kim, does this
Yeah, so-
apply? Does it have to start with a book offer or can it start with a membership offer?
Well, I wouldn't go right straight to the membership, but you technically could, right? So that would be a whole separate funnel. So,
Okay.
but we're going to talk about the webinar funnel or the event funnel. And then the last one is the membership funnel. So yes, you could send somebody straight to the membership page for sure. So ultimately you're going to be building 3 funnels, right? 3s of everything. So you're going to have your book funnel, which leads to the other funnel, by the way. And then your webinar funnel leads them to your event funnel leads them to the event, and at which time you present verbally the offer, where then you'll send them to a page, which will be the top of your 3rd funnel, which is your offer funnel, right?
Okay.
So in
Oh,
this
Simone's
case,
back.
if you didn't have a book, what's that?
Oh, I just said Simone.
Oh, Simone's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simone's back.
Okay,
Hi, Simone.
sorry about that. My computer just
That's okay.
closed off on me, but my Zoom was still
Blippity-blue.
open. So it's like, okay, well,
Good. Yeah, we didn't blip anywhere. We stayed right here.
here we go.
So yeah, remember you talked about having a quiz
Yes.
potentially? A quiz could be at the top of this funnel here until you had your book ready.
So I already have the quiz ready.
Perfect. So you could insert your quiz as this top of funnel piece for yourself if you wanted to until
Okay.
your book's ready.
Great, because this helps too, because I needed to, right now, I just have the quiz. There's nothing else other than the initial results that would get sent to whoever takes it. Nothing else is happening
Mhm.
afterwards. It's a complete chop off.
Right. So what you're going to want to do is after they take the quiz, you'll have the thank you page where you present, where you tell them, okay, do this next, right? Which is either go check your email for the report
Mhm.
or whatever it is. And then what you're going to want to do though is you're going to want to have a sequence that you're sending them. So if they are taking the quiz, they download the results or you send them automatically the results via email, then
Yep.
you'd want some sort of a nurture sequence and you have to decide where it is that you're sending them, right? Right
Yeah.
now you don't have
Any
an
place.
event to send them to. So my suggestion would be if you're interested in speaking about this, take the time to book a call. I'd go straight to a book a call.
Okay. I think that's what it says now, that you can book
Perfect.
a call.
Great.
But then
So then
there's still no nurture sequence following up on that.
right. So then what you would want to do is write a nurture sequence.
Mhm.
3 to 7 emails that continues them down the process and gives you some time to get the next pieces of your funnel in case they don't take another step. Right? Because then if they don't take a step to book a call, most people are then, well, now what? Now what do I do? Well, then you keep sending them emails, but it's like, how are you providing value? Because you know that they opted in because they are a chamber of commerce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you could just be like, hey, did you know that most chambers of commerce have, and then all your topics that we talked about that are going to go in your book, write about something that's going to go in those topics. They're all value points,
Yeah.
right? So each one of your chapters can become a teaching point.
Mm-hmm.
I think you had 6, right? 6 modules, 6 chapters. Forget.
No, the chapters, I think we had like 10.
Oh, did we do a 10 chapter book? Okay. What was your course? How many modules when we did the micro offer?
The my
It doesn't really matter. 6, 10, however many it is. Ideally, though, what you're doing is now you're repurposing your content. You're teaching content out of your book and out of your course in your emails. You're using that content to build a relationship with the chamber master, or not the chamber master, with the chamber of commerce. You're using the information to position yourself as an expert who works with chambers. And all of a sudden they're seeing all this stuff. Well, wait a second, isn't that Marie? She's just a bookkeeper, but she sure knows a lot about like getting, having profitable chamber events and da 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 da. They perceive you as the expert because you're sending them information that's piquing their interest because they're a chamber, right? So it's very strategic.
Okay.
And we'll be going through that. Like as you're working through the processes inside of the lab, this will be stuff where we can talk more about that, right? We're like, what goes in an email nurture sequence? We've got training for that. I think it's called Email Marketing Made Easy. It's a course in there. And I don't want you to jump ahead to it. I'm telling you it's there, but not so that you go in there and get overwhelmed. I want you to continue working on the most important piece, which is your membership offer. And then once we have that, trust me, I'll lead you down to every which next step path that you want to take. So don't go, blazoning down and doing half of everything. Because I used to do that. I'd be in programs where they'd teach about the email thing and I'd be like, oh my God, that's so exciting. I need an email nurture sequence. And then I'd go off on that rabbit hole of doing the emails, but I never didn't even have the other part ready yet.
Yeah, no,
It's like
I'm not
you can't
doing
send
that.
emails to somebody if they haven't gone down your funnel yet, right? So let's build that first.
Gotta lay the foundation.
This was just the high level, the bird's eye view of what everything needs to look like, right?
Fantastic.
Because you'll probably, if you have a good funnel, Simone can attest to this, there'll be people that bounce and don't finish the quiz. So if you actually have a good quiz, you should be capturing their email address before they actually take the whole quiz. Because then if they bounce out of the quiz, you can go, oh, hey, I noticed that at answer 3, you didn't continue taking the quiz. Because, the doorbell rang or the dog barked or whatever, and they got distracted and squirreled away by whatever bright, shiny object took their attention. Now you can go back to them. By the way, I saw you didn't finish your quiz. You should finish that now. Right? It's like that bounce cart.
And then card, yeah.
So even though they're not buying anything, they're taking a quiz. So you're going to have an abandoned quiz sequence for the people that fall off. So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
And again, you can be writing out this map just in its high level. Like, what are the things I'm going to need, right? You're thinking about them for your specific business. An abandoned quiz sequence is going to be something really important so that you get them to come back, right?
Yep.
And then you can still pop them about chambers because you still know that they attempted to opt in because they're a chamber. Do you see how now your messaging is so laser targeted because you're focusing on chambers? You know exactly what to say to them because they first landed on that page in the first place because they were a chamber.
Got it.
So now, even though they didn't finish taking the quiz, you're still going, oh, did you know that, you can increase your chamber event profitability by blah, 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 blah. What? Now you got them going, ding, event profitability. I'm listening, right?
Yeah.
And you become the go-to expert whenever they're thinking about something related to chamber master or their books or anything else. They're like, oh, that Marie, she's sending us emails all the time with all this valuable stuff. She sure knows her stuff. We should get her on the call now that Janet just screwed the books up for the third month in a row.
So funny.
Because that's exactly what happens when they're not ready to buy now. Eventually, when some, proverbial poop hits the fan, they're thinking about you because you've been staying top of mind.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to add for today. Simone, how about you? We've still got like just over 15 minutes left for questions or if you have any other thoughts on something we didn't cover out of those two kind of little sequence pieces.
Really, just are there any questions or anything that we can answer for you? Or anything that you want to see?
My only other question would be, what happens after so Kim said nurture sequence is 3 to 7 emails. What happens after that? I mean, you obviously want to continue sending out emails, go into a different sequence with a different name to it.
So I do a thing changing it up, but I do a thing called the forever nurture. So if they don't respond to your calls to actions in your short-term nurture sequence, then you put them into a long-term nurture sequence. And that one pretty much goes on forever. And that's why I call it a forever nurture, where you can have 3 to 6 months worth of emails that go out that are valuable. They tell stories, they give case studies and testimonials. And then one other piece that I like to put in is check-ins, where you're just saying, hey, how are you? What's going on with you these days? And it gives them a reason to respond back to you and these days, email deliverability is so crucial. If people aren't getting your emails, Yahoo and Google, they like to break out the inbox into all these different other inboxes that people don't check. And so if you're giving your people a reason to click, to reply, to actually open the email, then you're going to get more of your emails landing in the inbox.
Okay.
And so having those check-ins, giving them reasons to reply to you, all that kind of stuff. And then it creates a two-way conversation. So you're not just bombarding them with information, you're giving them an opportunity to respond back to you and tell you what's going on with them. And that can actually help you tailor, your next message or your workshop or whatever it is you're doing. So you're hearing directly from your audience, and that can help you, to make sure that you're on the right track. You know what people are going through, what they're dealing with. Then you put them into a long-term nurture sequence and you keep messaging them. Right. I heard
it just lengthens. So the first 7 are happening like almost daily. It's just when you go to long term, then it's every couple of weeks. Or it just goes out a little bit longer in terms of how often you're doing it. But then you can still pop those guys in if you're about to run a workshop, right? It can be now add them to the workshop invite email sequence. So they're still on the long term forever nurture. But then they're also getting the emails going, hey, I'm hosting this workshop on, event profitability for chambers.
Yeah.
Come to the workshop. Oh, by the way, I've got a handout for that. So make sure you come so you can get your event profitability checklist,
Yeah.
because you're really going to want that for the next event that you throw at your chamber. Right.
You'll
And then
get
so you're
people.
enticing them with gifts and value and
Gifts and
everything
value.
else
Yeah.
to join you in certain
Constantly.
endeavors. Yep.
Constantly. You'll get people who will pop up after getting your emails for 2 whole years and they haven't said anything. And then all of a sudden, one day, they'll get in your email and say, "Hey, I've been thinking about this. Um, I think I'll come to one of your workshops, or maybe I don't necessarily need to come to one of the workshops. What is it that you're selling? Can you help me with this problem?" And they're ready. They're ready right then and there because they've been hearing from you every couple of weeks or every week for 2 years. You know,
Even if they
this is
haven't been reading them, because like I do that too. Every now and
yeah.
again, I'll be like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to like actually engage in that type of content, and I'll all of a sudden pop in and engage in somebody's email that I haven't been for a long time.
For a long time,
Right?
yeah. I'll go through my email box and look for. I wonder if so and so has a deal
Is still
going
doing
on
that
right
right
now,
now.
or if
Yeah.
they're still doing that thing. And I'll go through my emails and check to see, what's the latest that's going on with them. What are they
Yep.
doing? If they're still sending me emails, then I'll see what's current with them. What's the current offer? What's the current deal? What's the current thing that they're doing? If they stop and the last email I got was 3 years ago, well, I'm going to assume that they're not current, they're not doing this anymore, and I'm going to look for a different solution.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
those silent ones that will just pop up all of a sudden, and they'll just lurk. They'll pop up all of a sudden and say, "Yeah, I'm ready. Here's my card. Do you take American Express?"
Yeah. I've been one of those people.
Yeah.
Like as
Okay.
I'm getting back in, like my biggest one right now is I need to figure out more spots to go speaking. So I'm
Mhm.
engaging all the people I know in the podcast space because I'm like, I'll go do some podcast guesting,
Yeah.
to start building my audience up again. Because as you can see, 130 members and like the
Mhm.
show up rate is like, it's
Yeah.
discouraging. And I'm okay with it. I just keep showing up to serve, and I know it gets better because I've done it before. I've done it before, and until I throw Facebook ads in the mix, which I haven't done yet. But I'm learning, by the way. I've got two mentors that I'm learning Facebook ads from, so I'll be bringing that back to the community as soon as I've got that tailored, right? But I don't want to ever bring something in and teach on it until I know that it works and I've done it and tested it
Yeah.
myself. So I'm very much about that, about being transparent, just like the tech. I think I wrote in the post today, right? I'm like, hey, tech is not my strong suit. So full transparency. I'm learning tech right alongside of the people that I'm teaching because I was never the tech genius, and that's what happened when I had to start caregiving for my dad, right? The bottom fell out. Why? Not because I wasn't a great book coach, but because I didn't have the systems and the automation in place to run my business for me while I had to take a step back. So this time I'm doing it differently. This time I'm doing it the right way. And so I'm really grateful to have you, Simone, along the way to be able to do this. And Reed, I'm glad that you show up to all the calls. You're awesome. Simone and I would have just been having a big old chat with some slides today if you hadn't shown up. So thank you for always being a great student.
I'm here to learn, right? I'm in the beginning of my journey. I'm trying to get
you're
my handle
amazing.
on all. I don't understand why people sign up to things, pay,
And don't show
then
up.
that makes no sense to me.
No sense to me either.
Makes not.
I mean, I get it because life happens, but
Yeah.
like it's not just like I have 5 members and 4 of them didn't show up. It's like I got 128 members, and like
Yeah.
literally right now it's a ghost town. It's
I've
just
got over
the
100
strangest
members
thing.
in my community too.
And look,
They haven't
crazy.
shown up, but I I feel like let me go to this call. They'll show up ultimately because I know that this topic is valuable.
It sure is.
People need it. So yeah, they'll start coming eventually. I think for us, we just have to remain consistent.
The only thing I can control is my own activity.
Exactly.
And so that's all I'm focused on right now, right? It's just be
Exactly.
active, get out there and teach.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun.
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate you ladies doing this and putting this together. So I will be there in anything you want to talk about because I'm still trying to wrap my, and it is an uncomfortable space to be in from the perspective is not everything is clear to me yet. As much as I love listening to Cam, there are things that I think they land, but then by the next day they haven't
Yeah.
landed. If I have to
Mhm.
explain it to someone else, I sort of have an idea, but not 100%. But I learned from the fact that if I keep showing up, if I keep listening, it will sink in. I will I need to feel connected to the logic. That's when I feel, where I really am in control of it. But until that happens, it's just a matter of hearing, even if Kim has to repeat herself 1,000 times, it will eventually land, or it will prompt me to ask a question that will help it land. And then it will be like eureka, and I'll be good to go to the next piece of information. I don't know how to learn any other way. And I know from experience that's how I learned everything I've learned in my life is by giving. I was lucky enough to be given the opportunity to be in a room when I had a boss that was, meeting with bankers and she was telling them about what we were doing in the department. And I had no idea in the beginning what any of that meant, but she let me come into the meetings and just sit there and listen. And meeting
right.
over meeting over meeting, it took a little while, but I got to the point where I could have those discussions without her in the room because I learned from it. I understood it. I could then see how the work that I was doing connected to it, and it gave me the bigger picture. So showing up is a must because if we don't hear
Absolutely.
it, it's not going to stick.
Yeah, and sometimes it's
True.
just repetition, like you said, right? You just need to hear it a bunch of times before it's like, okay, I got it, right? And this, which reminds me, I've got a really great, another great training that I've done in the past that really, it puts it into perspective of, I had an old coach, she used to do it as a pyramid. She called it the profit pyramid,
Mhm.
but I worked in funnels, so I called it the, the profitable book funnel. But it's just the same. It's the pyramid in reverse, right? Like, so it's like what's at the base of your profit pyramid if you were looking at it as a pyramid. It's like what are all the entry points into your business, right? What are your lead magnets, your speaking opportunities, your book, you go
Your
networking,
networking events.
running
Yeah.
Facebook ads, all the things that you're doing to bring people into that next level of the pyramid. And in that next level of the pyramid, it's your like, and as you're moving up the pyramid, it's going from low ticket to high ticket. So all of those things are free. Then it's like $27 or $7, like your book eventually could be in that tier where you're now making people pay for it, right? If you're sending ads to it.
Mhm.
And then it goes to like, what's the next level up?
Yeah. Like for a
$7
$97
VIP,
thing.
right? And then what's on the next one? Oh, a $97 something or other, right? Who knows? A program that they just get instant access to. And it's how do you plan out what things you could have in your pyramid? Because you might, just because you don't have them right now, doesn't mean you can't be thinking about what could be in your pyramid, right?
Mhm.
Like at the top of my pyramid, I've got my one-on-one VIP days. So I do like a 3-day, $3,000 VIP day with people. What's technically a VIP weekend. And I help them get their book finished and done. But most people don't have $3,000 right away and to spend with you and for only 3 days when they don't know you from a hole in the wall.
And
So
that's the
that's for
thing.
me is a
They have to
later
get to know
conversation I have
you.
with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have my write your book at the beach retreat, also at the top of the pyramid, at five grand. And I've got two other group retreats. I've got the launch at the lake when I'm in Canada, and I have launch in Cape Canaveral when I'm in Florida. So again, a more luxurious experience, a more intensive retreat style, but they're each $3,000 as well. So, again, you could fly into a chamber anywhere in the US, Marie, and work with them one on one for the right price, right?
Sure.
So again, you can have all of these things for people, and it's the sky's the limit, right? And there'll be people that will be willing to pay for the immediate help, and there'll be people that don't, and they'll just send their staff to the $47 a month membership, right? So you'll have chambers that will fit all of the different levels. But it's fun. I always found it fun to start dreaming of all those bigger possibilities because retreats had always been on my list of things to do. And at this point now, I've actually run one myself, right? And I had all but one of the participants at that retreat is published. One of them has published 8 times.
Wow.
So I know the content works. And once you learn it once, you can't unlearn it.
Mm.
Like she learned it and then went on to not only publish the first book that I helped her publish, but she published 7 more.
That's incredible.
So, when you start getting results like that, it makes it fun. It makes you be able to, share that. And then, I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Mexico to write their book? Like, heck, I could write it with you on Zoom, sure, but Mexico's a lot more fun.
On the
Right.
beach,
And then you start
right?
having those conversations with people and they're like, yeah, you're right. Mexico would be fun. Right. So you just never know who's watching and who's listening and then who wants to participate in the higher end programs later on down the road. Right. And in the meantime, we're building monthly recurring revenue by putting people into the membership so that no matter what, right? Simone now has monthly recurring revenue, right? Where that was something we talked about for a long time, right, Simone? So
Yeah.
to have that steady, constant income that is
Steady
coming
income,
without always
yeah.
having to
I
chase
love-
your next high ticket client. The
I
idea of
love
having
this
that
idea.
monthly recurring
I'm-
revenue.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting. I feel like it's the one thing I can actually potentially get done and get going. It would see the end result. I'm still fuzzy on the steps in between, but I can
Yep.
absolutely visualize what the end result would look like.
Yeah,
So that would be great.
absolutely.
Awesome.
So just
Thank
remember, it's always just the 3, just think in the 3s, right? My famous 3s. So, and you're working towards it. And I know you're doing a great job. And yeah, it makes me excited to see how it's all coming together for you.
Thank you.
This is
So tomorrow
fantastic.
we have our momentum call,
Yes.
which is going to be based on, if you've seen any of this stuff going on in the lab, Marie, it's
Oh.
going to be based on this 30-day challenge that I'm running this month, which is the June 30 days of tiny habits.
Okay.
So it was based on one I did it last June and I'm rerunning it this June, and it's all the activities are based around the attract, nurture, convert framework. So it's always tied in, and it's just a simple, daily action, kind of like the whole idea of atomic habits of The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. This one happened to be a book that I read called Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. And it's just the same concept, is that, you gain a lot of momentum by just doing small, tiny actions on a day-to-day
Every day,
basis with
yeah.
consistency. So jump in. The day 1 and day 2 are already there, Miri. You can do them in literally 5 minutes. And if you want to play along with us for the 30 days, I'm dropping a new one every single day
This is inside the membership?
inside the lab. Yes.
Okay. I'm
So
gonna
you'll
need-
see it's the 2 top pin posts. One's the announcement for the Tiny Habits Challenge. The second one is the toolkit. And then the toolkit points you to day 1, and then day 1 points you to day 2, and it just it'll keep going.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'll definitely check it
Okay.
out. Quick question for you, Kim. I thought you were gonna have on Wednesday.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah. Weren't you gonna move the Friday one to Wednesday?
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but there was too much going on this week, so it's definitely going to be moving. But tomorrow the momentum call is still on.
Okay. So, but the Friday one is not on tomorrow. You're gonna do
No,
that next week.
I'm going to keep it on the Friday that it is today, because I just didn't have a chance to move it.
Okay,
and
I just
plan the
wanted to make
material.
sure because I knew that was coming and I didn't see
It
it
is
yet. And
coming.
I was like, oh my God, did I miss it? Or because I wanted to
No.
make sure it was in line with the dates.
No, so on the school calendar, whenever you click on the calendar, the
Yep.
stuff that's in the calendar right now is still on, and
Okay.
when I move it, you'll see all the Fridays drop off, and they'll have shoved over.
Got it.
So, Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
okay,
Thank you.
but you're welcome.
I love these calls.
Thank you for coming.
Of course. It was lovely to meet you, Simone. I'm
It's
excited
great
to,
meeting you too.
yeah, and I'm excited for your next classes because I'm going to take whatever you show, bring it over to System IO and figure out how to do it in there. Concepts stay the same, right?
Yeah,
They do.
yeah, the concepts are the same. Absolutely.
And at some
So-
point when you're ready to upgrade, maybe you decide to make a switch over or do whatever, right? Like you just never know what's going to happen. I know lots of people that start in different systems end up moving to other systems. So you just never know what
Yeah.
could happen. But all the concepts that we're teaching are from a perspective that they can be done in any system and in any tool for sure.
Yeah,
Perfect.
All right.
just let us know. We'll be here to help.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of
Okay,
the day.
guys. Everyone
Thank
enjoy the rest of
you.
your day.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.